Sunday. I don't want to go home. And I have to leave in about an hour or so. But I am ready to go home. I'm coming back here December 8th for another workshop, another retreat with the same people that I'm with today. And same view, but it won't be the same because the view is always changing. It's just never the same thing twice. But I am ready to go home. I'm gonna go home, and the Sufis say that wherever you are is home. It's in here. And I think I know that that's true, but I got a lot going on, like every human being. And to me, the woods are my home, being outside is my home. And when I go back home, I live not in the woods. And there's too many cars and too many noises and too much traffic and not enough wind and not enough water. So that's hard. But yesterday somebody said to me that I was like water, that my strength was like water moving like this. So maybe it's all inside. I don't know. This is water. But she's talking about something else. And I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about home. I'm talking about time and how I want to spend my time and how I want to live the rest of my life. But there is no rest of my life. There's only this moment. This is the rest of my life right now. Now. This is the rest of my life. Whether my cancer comes back and kills me, I don't know. Don't know. Okay, taking the obstruction outside. It's 7 o'clock. I have to go out walking. God damn it. Alright, so that might be too bright. I have no clue. Okay, so now it's like 1 o'clock. This morning was really intense, the group that I'm doing. I'm not allowed to say anything really that happened, but it stirs up a lot of emotion. But when you're in this really beautiful place, I don't know, I hope that you can see how beautiful it is here. Now what's interesting is Andrew told me I had to use this tripod, and I find it extremely cumbersome. It's not that it's that heavy, it's just awkward, it's hard for me to carry with one hand. So my obstruction, I think he called it an obstruction, an obstacle, something, is actually keeping me in one place, which I guess all obstructions do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside again. I'm going to bring my camera. I'll bring my sound thing. And I'm going to go outside. It's just so beautiful. This is my room, of course. And it's quieter here than when I was here even a month ago. A lot of the bugs have died, the insects are dead. I'm kind of sad because there's not any butterflies anymore, an occasional moth. But when I was here in August, it was just non-stop monarchs. And non-stop monarchs. But they're dead. They're all dead. But they'll be back. Not for a while, but they'll be back. Now it's just really quiet outside. Seems like there's more wind. I can hear it in my ears better. And I can hear the sound of the leaves falling, which I tried to photograph, but it's very hard to photograph falling leaves. You can hear the wind. I'm sorry, I didn't sleep well last night, and I guess that's really all. So I'm gonna go outside. I have an hour until I have to come back. And there's milkweed out there that's exploding, so I would like to go photograph that. And I will let you know if I see a monarch. I'm back from my walk, and guess what? Not a single monarch, but caterpillars, those little fuzzy kind, black and rust colored, everywhere. What are they gonna turn into? Something. I used to love those when I was little. I made a little shoebox house for them with little stairs, little cardboard stairs. Okay, this one goes like this. Like that. And then there's a little line that says, actually, this line is here. It started out over here, so I turn this dial clockwise. And I turn it till I feel a stretch. It has to be on a scale of 1 to 10, it should be a 3 of discomfort. And then sometimes I dial it way too high and then it hurts really bad and I have to dial down. But I keep this on 1.5 hours a day, and I'll be doing that for probably the next couple of months until I plateau out to figure out how much my hand heals, which the goal is to try and turn a doorknob and to be able to cup for change, neither of which I think I'm really going to be able to do without more surgery. So my surgeon wants me possibly next summer to have this bone that makes your wrist have a lump right there. He would just cut the bone right out, and then I might be able to move my hand like that. I don't really want to do that surgery at all, and I'm not even really thinking about that. But what's frustrating is I don't even know the names of the bones, and I should by now. I just can't keep it all straight, everything that they do. But that particular bone would just be removed, and that would just be one more body part that I've had taken out in the last couple of years. So I guess that's just the way it is, that your parts just go from you slowly until eventually all the parts just go all at once in one way or another, and that's obviously just what death is. All your parts just go and you have to say goodbye to them. That's true for everybody. Okay, so when I was first learning how to use this camera, I did film with the lens cap on, which is completely, Andrew and I were saying it's like something out of a sitcom. Oh, it's so funny. So I don't ever want to be cliche in my poetry, in my writing, in my world. But my cat right now is sitting in a suitcase. I'm going away to my retreat, and Willie is sitting in my suitcase. And I think that that is a cliche thing for a cat to be in a suitcase. I think the camera's crooked and I don't know what to do about it. So, 2 years ago, I drove my husband to the emergency room because he was having a heart attack. And they saved his life there. And then 6 weeks later, I was diagnosed with cancer. And that was 2 years ago. So last summer, I had a cancer surgery. 2 years ago, I had a cancer surgery. A year ago, my husband got hit by a car and had surgery to replace cadaver bone in his neck. I'm sorry. That was a weird slip. They didn't replace cadaver bone in his neck. They took out his good parts and put in cadaver bone to try and help him. And it didn't work. He's in a lot of pain. So I think I'm realizing, I think a lot about time. What does it mean to almost lose your spouse and then 6 weeks later become really close to death because they find a tumor inside of you that was twisting you up completely. So 6 weeks, 2 years, 4 months, how much time do we have left? None of that really matters in the deep, deep place. In the deep, deep place, it's just this moment. And that's the only time that there is. So that's just one gift that I've received from all the surgeries and all the craziness and all the loss, that we're here. We're definitely here, and we're here for this moment. And the moment can be huge, huge. Not just in this room, but outside my window, bigger, 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 all the way up, all the way out, that each moment can actually be enormous. And I kind of never cared about that before. Mostly, really, maybe it's not that I didn't care, I had no clue. So now I know that there's a James Wright line, each moment of time is a mountain. So actually that's a poem. As the plump squirrel scampers across the corn, something or other, the moon suddenly stands up in the darkness, and I see that it is impossible to die. Each moment of time is a mountain. An eagle rejoices in the oak trees of heaven, crying, "This is what I wanted." I'm gonna find out what that corn, it's corn, as the plump squirrel scampers across the corn. I'm gonna find out, hold on. Okay, hold on. Well, this book I've had since I was 18, and I love James Wright. Where I'm going, actually, is back to near where I went when I was 18. So on my retreat, I'm going to Van Etten, and that's outside Ithaca, where I went to college. So I've kind of come full circle between 18 and 51. Okay. It says, the plump squirrel scampers across the roof of the corn crib. And the rest of it I have right. And the name of that poem is, Today I Was So Happy, So I Made This Poem. So I'm headed off to my retreat. And my hand is very stiff today. One thing I miss being able to do is clapping. I go to a lot of performances, poetry readings, all the stuff at school that we do. And I feel excluded when I can't clap for people, because that's what we do. We clap in appreciation. And for me to clap my hands is too high of a price, because it hurts really bad afterwards. And I was at a poetry reading the other night, and I really wanted to applaud, and I couldn't, and I felt like I was being stingy or unresponsive, which is not how I really felt. So I miss being able to clap. I actually have no memory of this hand working, even though it was my hand for 51 years. I haven't dreamt of it working, and it used to work just like this one. If I opened my hands, they would both open. And now, if somebody says, well, what about that? And I go like that, and I have to point. I don't recognize who this hand is, that I can't move it. And I have pain all night long. So it's as if I'm living with some new creature that's with me, and we're constantly trying to figure out how to get through the night together. Everyone's sleeping. The sunrise is right over there. And the mountains right beyond that blackness. It's really, really beautiful. So in the morning, I'm gonna film. There's a lot of stars out there, but you can't see them. So in the morning, I will show you. I want to die before you. Do you think the one who follows finds the ones who went first? I don't think so. It would be best to have me burned and put in a jar over your fireplace. Make the jar clear glass so you can watch me inside. You see my sacrifice. I give up being earth. I give up being a flower just to stay near you. And I become dust to live with you. We'll dive into the earth together, and if one day a wild flower finds water and springs up from that piece of earth, its stem will have two blooms for sure. One will be you, the other me. I'm not about to die yet. I want to bear another child. I'm brimming with life. My blood is hot. I'm going to live a long, long time. And with you. Death doesn't scare me. I just don't find our funeral arrangements too attractive. But everything could change before I die. Any chance you'll get out of prison soon? Something inside me says, maybe. This one stays on 30 minutes, and I do that 3 times a day. This one is 30 minutes 3 times a day, so I wear these 3 hours a day. This is the knob that you adjust until it hurts, and then when it hurts you pull back. On this one, both these knobs go clockwise, so they turn the same way as a clock. And I sit around waiting, and this is called a joint active system, and it's supposed to improve my range of motion so that I can try and get as much of my hand back as I can. The night that I fell, I got taken away in an ambulance because the bone went through the skin, and when I got to the emergency room, they told me that after the x-ray that my hand was completely shattered and it was never going to be the same. That was 4 months ago, and it's been a long 4 months. This is called the Tower, and you put it like that. And I'll show you something else. These are my other devices. This was called the paddle, and I had to wear this for 4 hours a night. It was very painful, and then I stopped. This is a compression thing. This glove I only had to wear for a couple of days. And then these little sleeves I've worn, I just like to wear them for protection from cold, and I don't really like to be stared at, but I don't think my scars are as visible as time goes on, as the time passes. So I'm not waiting for anything. When I have to sit in these things for 3 hours a day, I do something else, which is I read the Psalms. So while I sit, instead of watching TV, I flip to whatever psalm, like I just go, okay, whatever I'm going to listen to, hear myself read, and I just flip to whatever psalm is good. There's a lot of stuff about bones in the Psalms, and the thing that's amazing about the Psalms is they're like 3,000 years old, so you can really trust them.